Hey guys, Taylor Brooks here, back with another Photoshop tweak. Okay, so a lot of times we take great photographs. This is a photograph of a model named Amber. She has crystal blue jacuzzi eyes. They're just outstanding. She does not wear any contact lenses or anything. She has real, actual blue eyes. Very rare nowadays. So we went on a nice little hike out in the forest out in Malibu, but I brought everything except for the reflector. Good job, Tay. So what do when you forget the reflector? You go out to the forest, you take a perfect picture of a model with jacuzzi blue eyes. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Okay, first thing we always want to do when we're working on photographs is, or images, if you want to be a proper Photoshopper, you say images, you never say photographs. We're going to make a copy that's a duplicate layer. We're going to call this the eyes layer. And we're going to also create a duplicate of the background layer because we're going to need that layer, and I'll show you why. But I'm going to go ahead and call that the top. And we'll show you why later. Okay, so click on the eyes layer. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Now, when you work on this, I want you just to be imagining that you're only looking and focusing on the eyes, the darkness of the eyes. We're going to go into image, adjustments, brightness, contrast, and we are just going to turn up those eyes. Just keep an eye on the whites of her eyes now. Just raise it. In this case, I'm going to raise it all the way up. 148 and 18 are the measurements there. We're going to hit OK. Now that looks crazy blown out, right? Yes. I'm going to hit Control minus so we can step back a little bit. But I just want you to focus on her eyes. The whiteness of her eyes is pretty decent. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top layer, I'm going to click on it, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to slide it up above the eyes layer. And we're going to go into the eraser layer. The eraser tool here. I have it at 4. 4 is really nice to work with, and as we erase gently, I am using the bracket keys to move the size of this eraser down. You can adjust it up here if you want, but real Photoshoppers use smart commands, quick commands, and I am just going to gently erase through to that real bright layer that we made into the eyes. And I'm not going too high up because I am using traditional 3D shading of the eyeballs. And I'm just kind of brightening the bottom because if she had really bright eyes on the top half, that would look kind of impossible. To really be good at Photoshop, I think you have to look like you didn't do any work at all. All right, so we are lightening and brightening into her eyes now, and those eyes are looking really nice. I'm going to actually over brighten these eyes, and I'm going to show you why in a little bit. Okay, now we're going to hit Control and the minus key. If you're on a Mac, you want to hit Option and the minus key. And look, perfect blue eyes there. So we've got a little bit of darkness under her eyes. That's just shadowing. She did not have any real darkness under her eyes on the day. So again, we are going to use that erase key to make it pretty big now and just hit that dark area. Just give it a little pop in here. We're lightening and brightening. I've worked on this photograph before. There's some sort of strange thing over here in this corner. We're going to go ahead and clone that out in a little bit. I think it's a shadow. I don't know what it is. Nobody's perfect, but they are perfect when we get done with them, aren't they? Okay. Even kind of overdo it a little bit, and I'll show you why in a bit. Okay. That's nice. I'm liking this. Perfect amber. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna hit Control and the minus key, and that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go over into the eyes portion of this, and I'm going to change the fill, which is going to blend it out a little bit. That's not too bad right in there. I'm going to zoom out, and that's pretty nice. We could even brighten it up a little bit by adjusting the fill. I like that. Somewhere in there is not bad. And it looks real. That's the nice part about it. Let's go ahead and flatten all these layers down into one piece so we can work on this a little bit more. I'm going to go into the sharpen tool. Of course, I always recommend that you sharpen eyes. Even with perfect focus, especially on a JPEG, you usually don't get really high definition sharpening. Raw images and a good camera can usually give you a nice sharpening no matter what, but it doesn't matter because with Photoshop we go back, we sharpen a little bit. Okay, now that is what I call popping the eyes. And I am just clicking and detailing and sharpening these irises. That's great. Because it's always about the eyes. I've done this many times on pictures, and people write comments to the models saying that their eyes are so amazing and that they're so, how do they get eyes like that? And of course the models never mention anything about me. All right, here we go. So look at that. Perfect. The other thing that you notice about this is that the pores under her skin have a really nice amount of detail. I think Amber has a little freckle right here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clone stamp that out of there. Clone, the quick command is S for stamp. S is for stamp, remember that, because then you could just use the letter S. Right in here, it could probably use a little bit of pinkish, maybe. Let's try a little bit. We're going to hit S. We're going to open it up with the bracket keys. Alt, left click gives you a piece of it. My opacity is at 30%. You have to be a pretty confident Photoshopper to use 30%. I think it's not too bad. Maybe take a little piece of this and put it over here a little bit. Less is more. Maybe some of this, a little bit of this detail. I always believe that using detail always fools the eye. Little dots, little bumps, parts of the skin. She's got pretty amazing skin. I'm just going to take the spot healing brush and see. By the way, when you use spot healing brush, don't be weak, don't be a wimp, don't just hit spot healing brush. Go up in here into lighten and darken. The easiest way to remember this is whatever you hit on this is exactly what's going to happen only. So only darken, only lighten. I'm going to hit lighten, and I'm going to just get over this little bump here, and look at that. See, it only lightened it. So when you have dots or dings or little bits and pieces, now some guys like Carl Taylor, they like to do hundreds and hundreds of little corrections like this on a model. I don't think it's necessary. I think in general you want the model to look real, and as long as it's not a severe blemish, I think you should leave little bits and pieces in. I think they're fine. Most people don't go this far in on a photograph anyway. And that's it. Control, minus, and that's it. Amber looks like $1,000,000, and so does the lighting. Okay, guys, that's how to pop eyes. If you want to remove some of this peripheral hair and these little bits and pieces, I have another tutorial about removing peripheral hairs, atmosphere hair. Check it out on my YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/T Brooks Hollywood. This is Taylor, and Amber's perfect image signing off.